Hello, and welcome to another episode of Paul Plays Infinifactory. So, we've got to this puzzle, Terrestrial Drone. So let's get on with it. I have a feeling this could be a long one, so let's have a look at this. So this is what we need to build. We've seen this before, we fixed one of these before in one of the earlier episodes, so now it's building one from scratch. There's 5 of these square containers, this CPU unit at the back, 5 length tracks, a 3 length barrel, and the whole thing is kind of slightly, well, it's 5, so the 2 sits kind of offset towards the rear of the vehicle. Okay, so let's do what we know we can do easy. Let's get the tracks made. So they're 5 long, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's get a welder up over that. We're going to build it somewhere around here. So let's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Flip it round and have a look at that. So there's 5. Let's just knock it over the cliff. Is that going to be the middle of it there? No, we're going to knock it over one more cliff. I think that's going to be. Okay. So there's the first little bit done. Let's say we build it. Let's say that becomes a conveyor belt. And I'm just going to put a template on the ground, just marking where I'd like to get the whole thing constructed. So what I'm going to try and do is slide them all in like so. Hopefully there'll be in this bit in the middle, and then get all the welding done. So let's have a look at doing this. So if we were to drop them into something like that, what would that look like? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So as we see, this shape here we're looking for, I'm looking at it this way, so the higher block is on the right, which indeed it is, kind of makes itself naturally. It's going to be a bit of a pain to detect when it's made. That's the only down. Oh, excuse me. That's the only downside of this. So, but we can do it. I mean, basically, we need to know when these last. If you watch it again, there's nothing there. There's 1 here and 1 here. So when 1 gets to here and there already is 1 there, that's when we need to fire and push it all out. So with that in mind, let's get some pushers in. 1, 2, like that. Let's get some cabling in. So we'd like to push it out this way, I think. Why not? Yeah, it's obviously the way it's coming out. That's where the pushes are. So we need to put the detectors this end. So again, these are 2 separate wiring systems. So what we'd like to do is, using the AND gate technique, which I have in a tip video, what we're really trying to do is when this one this is the one that finally activates it, but that can only work once we've seen one in the bottom. So hopefully those 2 haven't touched yet. Like that. I might bring this up Comes like that. Put one back there. Put a pusher there to push it in when this one lights up. So, oops, wrong key. That all looks a bit of a mess, but hopefully that actually does work. Let's have a look at it. Fine, okay, so all that's needed now is a way of getting it out, which will be that. And then obviously it needs welding on this side. By far too many welders. Okay. So, what I'd like to do now is try and get, where's that? Their tracks, so they can come out straight away. 1, 2, 7, 7. Flip them around. That can go there. So they're in the wrong way, so let's get them rotated. Probably better rotated the other way. And I'm just going to throw him over here for the time being, whilst this one is being dealt with. Let's see if that's the right. No, I believe that looks a bit better. So, see where we got to with this. So, if I was to take this back a couple, I'm going to have to support it. These guys fall in there, so I can't support it. Oops, that was awful. Well, maybe that's it. Okay, with a bit of luck. Now, is that in line? That would be dropping in from this side, which is the side we need to look at it. No. We need this one square further to the left that way, so to the right this way. So this whole thing needs to be chopped back one. I believe, let's put a pusher in there, and let's have a look at that. Fast forward it, they all drop through. Now, the idea would be this is going to drop down here. When it gets one square out here, initiate this pusher, push them in, do a whirl kind of in midair. And hopefully we're done, and hopefully this gets in here. No, it's not gonna. We're gonna have to delay that second track by a little bit. It's unfortunate, but what can we do? I don't think we can get this here any quicker, so c'est la vie. So I need to get a detector 1 up there. So it's this square here, one to the right and one up. So one to the right and one up would be there. And let's see. What happens, and then the welding would obviously happen. Welding's happening in these two squares here, so something like that. Okay. So where are these? The problem at the moment is that if we look at this here, the first track's lovely. The second track is just a little bit too early. So I'd like to delay the second track. Probably delaying based on this. The problem with putting like a total delay, a total blocker in, is I don't want to catch the first track if this one doesn't happen to be here. So what I'm going to do is when there's a block along here, I'm going to catch this guy and stop him falling down. So how will I do that? Let's put a it lands there, so no, I don't want one of them. Oops, I keep doing that. I'm convinced I want one of them. No, I want one of them. And let's say if I can see a block possibly there. No, a little too late that was. So let's have a quick look at that. Fast forward this. Let's get a move on this, or is we going to be doing this one all afternoon? Oh, cleverly done. Okay, let's have a look at that. So I've managed to block myself with, I believe, nothing serious, just this silly block here. So if I support this guy from the left, that should do it. How about that? One in. That's welded. Okay, so here we have the bones of the device. Obviously the track's on welded, and this is a tricky weld here. I mean, I don't know if I can figure out a way of doing this simply, but it is a tricky weld. What can you do? Okay, the next thing I'd like to do is get the barrel in place. So I'm going to need somewhere supporting that barrel. Where is the barrel? It's here. Bringing it in. Oops. Wrong. Looks better. How's that look? Oh, couldn't get a lot better than that, could we? So So now the whole thing needs to be welded together and pushed into the solution. Okay, so to do that, it's a tricky weld in that I need to get a welder on this square here, and this square here, for example. The tricky one being this square here. The only way I have access to it, like of all the squares that are available, the only one is this square here that I'm looking at, this blank space here. But obviously, if there's a block there, I can't do the slide in. I'd have to kind of slide them in this way, and then I'm going to get the same problem no matter what I do. So what I'm going to try and do is put my welding rig on a pusher and push it into place when I'm happy. So these guys will slide in, the welder will be sitting here, and will get pushed in to work. So let's have a look at what that would look like. So the welder starts here and gets pushed in. It's now in there, hopefully welding this square here. The plan anyway. So what would these ones look like? These would have to look something like, so the side ones are, wherever this one is, one higher and one to either side. So let's just, so these are two more welders going here. Again, these ones look down like that. They need to be attached somehow. But that's where they're going. So maybe a bar. I don't want anything here, obviously. This square can't be used, so let's just stick something like this on. How's that look? And then I need to detect it, so hopefully the square. Now the next question is, how is it going to get out? What I'd like it to do is pop out one square this way to clear all this rubbish, and let's just have a look, make sure that still works. We haven't made a mistake doing anything. Yes, so with a bit of luck, this pushes in and does a weld. So for the time being, I'm just gonna I'd like to detect this square here. Obviously can't put it to the left there. Could put it there. Depends on what I'm going to try and do. Whether I should slide it in. Let's just try and put a sensor here and see where we end up. Again, I'm not too sure where the conduit might have to go up and above around it. I'm not sure. Let's have a look at that. I'll just be very careful I haven't messed up and attached it to anything here. Don't think I have. Okay, so that looks like that weld is done. The barrel obviously still isn't attached, but everything else is. Now the problem is, if this was to retract quickly, that would be great, because the whole thing could slide out this way. Whilst it's here, I'd have to shift it out this way. which is a bit of a pain. So the question is, can it be made retract straight away once the weld is done? Okay, maybe not. I'm not sure how to do that. So what I'm going to do is, well, first of all, let's have a look how I'd weld the barrel in place. Same sort of trick. One up, up one, and then one square, then two welds. Up one, actually up two. So, all right, up two, one square, and then two welders looking down. How's that going to be? Is that going to stop anything falling in, though? Possibly. No. So, I believe that's it all welded. It's just encased in this at the moment. So, the best thing to do would be to try and push it out. So with that in mind, I mean, if I could just shift it one square, as I'm looking at it here, one square to the left, then it would roll out this way. So, if that wasn't there, say, if that was a conveyor belt, pushing it to the left, which is obviously not on as it's sitting on it, let's run that there like that. And if my sensor was there, now hopefully we can get in and around this thing here that was only supporting the barrel. Okay, so I want to push it out. So when it fires, if there was a, that's a pusher, let's make that into a blocker. And I want it unfired when it's sitting here. So what I'd like to do is just create any form of sensor. It's not going to do anything. It's just going to sit up against the block and be permanently on. It's like a permanent on source for the blocker. And I need to try and get to it up here. And I can't. Remember, this whole thing is moving, so I need to be quite careful with which bits move and which bits don't. So let's say if I put a bit of conduit here, that's fine. That's moving with everything. Now if I join these bits together, obviously it don't work no more. But if I did that to there and drop this conduit in, what would happen? Okay, so it's not in it. It's in its normal unretractable. It's just as the whole thing slides forward, I feel this conduit might drop to the ground and not work a second time. Let's have a look. Yeah, okay. So it kind of worked, but not really. So I'd like this bit of conduit to come with it. And I need more. So I think we'll just look at that, fast forward it till we get here. This pusher, or blocker should I say, is retracted. In this all comes, and we get a push, and it all looks pretty good. So, oops, wrong ones. Done. Make sure we can produce many of them. Yep. So this is a mobile welding rig. I mean, with a built-in extra way of pushing it out. Again, the AND gate used here, so that tips video came in handy for me anyway. Building this 5-block here. Nothing particularly interesting about the tracks or the barrel. I mean, we're building long units like that since pretty much the start of the game. And off it goes. So, thanks for watching this video. Hopefully that was an interesting solution to it. We'll be back with another one pretty shortly. So thanks again for watching, guys. Hope you're enjoying Infinifactory. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. If you have any comments, feel free. Or subscribe to the channel. Thanks again. Bye now.